Hello and happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to this edition of the Racing Insiders podcast. Oh, I guess I'm not on. I said go live, but It didn't do it. Okay. Here we are. Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Racing Insiders podcast. I am Kate Dillon from Crate Insider. Put our names up on the screen here. And the person texting next to me is Steve Hendren from Hendren Racing Engines. And I don't know what. I mean, some people don't understand that we're on a podcast. This happens like almost every single week.
What does?
That somebody texts you like when we're starting.
Right.
Yeah, it happens. It happens a lot.
Well, that was an important one. So
okay.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Hey, things happen. Well, we've had an eventful weekend.
Yeah, we did. It was actually, it was pretty good.
Yeah. Is that all we're going to go?
Yeah, it was a good week. It was a good weekend. Yeah. I mean, it was a damn good weekend.
Well,
other than me driving 15 hours.
Well, the alternative was with me driving your Charger.
Yeah, that's true.
So your choices are, you get to either be frustrated that the people in front of you aren't going fast enough, or you'll be frustrated that I'm not driving your car fast enough, or that I'm driving too close to somebody or something with your car.
Well, I mean, the rule of thumb is if you're on an interstate, which we were pretty much on all interstates other than just a little short section of road.
For who needs to hear it, which is probably not the people who watch our show.
No, I mean, yeah. So 15 to 20 over is the rule of thumb. If you're going the speed limit, stay the fuck out of the goddamn passing lane.
Okay, well, that just offended a bunch of people.
Yeah.
You're throwing some GDs out there.
Oh, so. I realized I said it.
Yeah, you
Sorry.
did. You did. And that was the only part that was offensive. But I haven't heard 15 to 20 over, because I've always heard like if it's 65, you're pretty safe up to 72. 70, you're good, like right under 80.
I was 15 to 20 over the entire way to Pittsburgh. Sometimes even over that, depending on the line of cars we were in, and didn't get a ticket. Came back, did the same thing in the rain, and didn't get a ticket. So, yeah,
well, great. I love how you actually throw out there. You go ahead and tell about the laws that you break on a public channel. So that's always fun. That's a lot of fun there. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, it's kind of fun on the way back because you're, all like up in someone's, like, not that you're tailgating, but you're darn close so you can't even see around the cars. And I was like, okay, go for it. All right, you got runway. Let's go.
I mean, you got to have a navigator. So you were like navigator.
Yeah,
so,
I didn't really want to be navigator.
Like, can I pass this asshole in the slow lane? Yes, you can. All right, great.
Go. You got runway. Go now. Go now. I don't know. You got a little hole. You can do it. That's what we did for the last 2 hours of the trip.
But I was all stoked because the Charger got like great gas mileage on the way up there and the way back.
Yeah, even though
probably because it wasn't downshifting and upshifting 100 times going up hills.
Yeah.
It was like the only time it downshifted was like going downhill in cruise control to keep me from like totally annihilating the speed limit.
Yeah, barreling into people. All right, we got a bunch of people here, so let's say hi to some folks. See, Scott's here. He says hi from mild and sunny California. We saw that the Hendren Memorial had to make some schedule modifications. Hope you are all home safe and dry with hurricane stories. I mean, it just rained. It didn't rain on Friday night. Yeah. Saturday. And then, I mean, our hurricane story would be coming back home on Sunday that, kept bringing up the radar, and it shows that there's no rain. Except for when I look at the windshield, there's raindrops.
It did this misty, horrible, shitty rain the entire way back to the North Carolina state line. As soon as we crossed into North Carolina, it cleared up.
Yeah, there is worse rain though. I think it's worse when it just only barely kind of sort of miss, and so then your windshield wipers don't know whether they should be on or off, and then at some point you're hearing and you're like, oh my gosh, like make up your mind, either do one or the other.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's good. And yeah, we'll talk about those schedule modifications in a minute here. And Mikey's here, says happy Monday. And Jeremy's here. What's up, guys? It's great to see you here. And Mike's here. Hello, Kate. I got it in all caps and Steve.
Low man on the totem pole here.
No, low man is actually a good thing. And Mark's here. Says happy Monday from Arizona. And Mikey says,
how's low man a good thing? You're like looking at everybody's asshole up the totem pole.
Well, no. I mean, on a totem pole, the place of honor is at the bottom.
I got you.
It just is.
Well, I would think it would be awful because, like, literally, you're like looking at everybody's asshole the entire way up the totem pole.
Yeah. Well, you know what? But you don't have to climb the stairs. You get you get to be on the first floor there. You. No, I mean, that is legit. It's funny because it's such an opposite metaphor. The low man on the totem pole, like you're the worst one. But no, I mean, that's the one you're eye to eye with, I suppose. Right. I don't know all the rationale, but I just do know that the actual low man on the totem pole is the one with the most status. I
got you.
Yeah. And Mikey says, let's start it off with a bang. Pineapple pizza for the win.
Nasty ass shit right there.
I love it. I love it. Absolutely. And Robert's like, amen. I'm sure he was talking about you and your driving. And speaking of pineapple pizza, Brandon Reynolds. Well, no, different Brandon. I was thinking of with pineapple pizza.
So you've now connected Brandon Reynolds to pineapple pizza.
I didn't mean to. Different Brandon. So Darren's here from California. Actually, I don't know where Darren is right now, but he's from California in that Tahoe area.
Supposedly.
Oh, allegedly. All right. Mark says, anyone notice that now that gas prices are through the roof, there are a ton of people who refuse to get going on the freeway now. Everyone is trying to save gas and won't get the heck going.
The fuck out of the way.
Well, there's that.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's usually it's always like minivans and dudes in jacked up pickup trucks.
Oh my God. Yeah, it is a lot of them.
So it's Karen and Darren, like holding up traffic usually 9 times out of 10.
I thought it was like Kyle.
It could be Ken. It could be
Kyle. Yeah, wait, I don't know. Has anybody landed on the masculine version of Karen? Is it Kyle or is it?
They're all Karens. So.
And Mike says there are no speed limits unless you get caught.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there's that. Oh, Alan says if we've got towns, if you're 1 mile over, you will get a ticket.
Oh, I believe it.
Well, especially in Pennsylvania. We weren't on the Parkway.
No.
Tell them what's funny.
The Pike. We weren't on the Turnpike.
Well, Turnpike. I think what was funny is that the first toll we went through,
it was $4.25 on this damn toll road in West Virginia. And it was the shittiest road we were on the entire time.
Well, for about a half a mile, and then it was really nice. But it was
really nice. Like that, you were like on your computer the whole time doing shit as I'm driving.
Yes.
So no, it was not that good.
Well, it was at one point, but anyway. Okay. Yes, I was. Definitely. I was multitasking. I was using productive use of my time. I had my little mobile internet. It's awesome. This little box gives me internet like wherever I am. I love it. Love it so much. All right. And okay, now we got a question here. Robert says, what the hell is a Mullins crate motor that says 90 horsepower plus with the motor being sealed? How can it be sealed and be legal and get 90 horsepower extra?
It's a 100% lie. Unless it's completely cheated up. And I don't know anybody that Mullins seals engines for that he's certified through. So I don't. It had to be a cheater motor, like with fake GM seals that you get from Brzezinski or something.
Well, I think there's another option. I don't know the answer to this question. I mean, you have to.
I'm speculating. I don't know. I've never seen that ad. So.
Well, you have to talk to Chad Mullins,
right?
But I don't necessarily think he's trying to do like actual crate motor. I think it's the open motor version that runs with crate motors in the IMCA. It's my speculation.
I have no idea.
I don't really know.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a crate motor and it's 90 more horsepower, it's not true. If it's a crate killer, which I think there's guys that do those, he may be one of them.
Well, yeah, he's
then
the one who started that.
It could be.
Yeah, so it's kind of like I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Talk to.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing against Guy. I mean, he's got his own business, but I'm just saying, if it's supposedly a crate engine that's 90 more horsepower, then no, that's not true.
Yeah. Alan's here from Delaware.
And 90 more than what? So that would be my question.
Alan is here from Delaware, and thank you, Alan, for buying some candy bars last week. I have exciting news to report.
Yes.
Addison Radford won the candy bar selling contest at the elementary school.
By how much?
I don't know, but probably
an assload.
Well, the problem was we couldn't even get candy bars.
Oh, I know.
That was the problem. Like, we were like, hey, come on, we got like 4 more boxes sold here. And they're like, yeah, but we don't have any more. And then the contest will be over. There's not even time to ship it or something. Like, well, I mean, what kind of fundraiser planning is this? I mean, come on. Like, yeah. So anyway, thank you to all of the folks who supported the candy bar situation. We're definitely grateful. And she's so excited. She got $100 bill.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I'll bet her little scrawny ass is like.
Yeah, well, Tori sent me a couple video clips this afternoon, and they said her name on the intercom. And,
oh wow.
Yep. So that the winner of the contest, and then they had some candy left over because we haven't even been able to fulfill all the orders that we had. So Tori's messaging me saying, "Hey, they're asking us." Yeah. They're asking us if we want any more of these candy bars. I was like, yeah, I mean, we'll take them because we promised it. People wanted these.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, we did. So big congratulations to Addison Radford. And, big thank you to our audience for supporting that.
Tori's mini-me and mini evil assistant.
She's my mini-me too. She's going to grow up and be just like me.
I hear you.
Yes, she is. She's amazing. Amazing little girl. All right. And Darren, I mentioned I think he's from Tahoe. He said, just got back from Alaska. Time to find a few races. I knew he was doing some work up in Alaska and just haven't been on, I haven't been on social media a whole lot. Seems like I am because I make all these videos and things, but.
Well, my account got banned.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
There's not much to say. Apparently I posted too many Hunter Biden memes and they banned my shit. So.
Yeah, and you've been in Facebook jail. I mean, we're talking like he's not in Facebook jail anymore. He got the message that they are deleting his account.
Potentially.
Suspending.
I filed an appeal, but, with a bunch of left-wing assholes from California, who knows what the hell's going to happen.
Well, I think the crazy thing is that they're going back 3 years to stuff that you posted like 3 years ago. Somebody's offended. And these are even ones that are just like only available to your friends.
And literally everything I've been dinged on is Hunter Biden stuff.
Wow.
Nothing else.
I mean, there were definitely some virus things that you have gotten dinged on in the past.
Virus thing.
Well, I mean, trying to not say the word so I can get banned from YouTube.
Oh, the Kofefi?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you can say that on YouTube.
The thing.
The thing.
Yes, actually.
But no, that was nothing more than like, it didn't violate community standards. They're saying I violated community standards with Hunter Biden memes. So,
gotcha. Mike says, I'm surprised you folks aren't in Oswego, New York this week for Super Dirt Week. It would be a great place to set up a parts trailer, have a campfire, and drink lots and lots and lots of beer.
Honestly, the beer thing sounds good, but as far as like dirt car series goes, nothing sounds good to me about dirt car series. So.
Well, and the reason why we were up north is because it was the Bill Hendren Memorial race. This is a race that you held in honor of your dad. So I think we can talk about it now. And what was amazing. So huge congratulations to you for all the hard work you did, because you raised enough money to have a $10,000 to win race.
Well, it wasn't a lot of hard work when you have like really great sponsors. Do not do that. I hate that fucking camera angle. Jesus. So it's not a lot of hard work when you have great sponsors, and without those sponsors, this wouldn't have happened. I mean, we're looking at, FK rod ends, Pro Fabrication headers, City Chevrolet, Rick Hendrick, City Chevrolet. We're looking at Daytona 1 Performance Lubricants. We're looking at, Crate Insider. My family kicked in some. We're looking at Bob Bentz with Stan's Transmission up in Pittsburgh. And we're looking at my buddy with West Mifflin Collision up in Pittsburgh, Scott Gunn. And then Vicky actually got a couple for us. So it was like Kaiser Manufacturing. And I can't remember the other one that she got.
Is that the close racing supply, maybe?
I don't remember.
Or was it Hovis?
No, Hovis is a series sponsor.
Yeah.
I can't remember the other one she got. But anyways, and I apologize. But no, without those people, none of this would have happened. And it was just phenomenal.
And what was supposed to happen was on Friday night was going to be 4,000 to win. And you were going to have 2 below Hendren Memorial.
Yeah. So Friday night, of course, Pittsburgh Motor Speedway. So, Miley's, and they were going to make, the original plan was Friday night was going to be a 4,000 win race, which the Miley's were covering completely. And so that would be PPMS was covering that purse. And then Saturday night, they were covering, a certain percentage of the purse, and then I was making up the difference to make it 10,000 to win. So that was the original plan. Unfortunately, Lucas Oil canceled Saturday night.
No, they canceled the show.
They canceled the race Saturday night, but they canceled it Friday morning.
Yeah, they knew they weren't going to do it.
We knew we would get Friday in, but Lucas was scheduled to be there Saturday. So they canceled in advance because of the way the weather looked. And honestly, by then the weather looked like it was going to be shit. It was really up in the air until then.
Yeah.
And then, so we made the decision, meaning myself,
Matt
Miley and Vicky, Emick, we made the decision ourselves. Gosh, driver's meeting was 5:15. I think about 4:45. We're like, hey, we're just going to do the 10 grand a night. So.
You had 41 cars there. I mean, the 41 cars thought they were going to be there for 4,000 to win.
Correct.
What a great surprise to say, oh, and by the way,
we're going to do 10.
Whoever wins tonight.
Yeah. So, no, I mean, the idea was I had sponsors that stepped up and did what they did. So we were going to fulfill our obligation to the racers. And we had 41 cars for 4,000 to win, which is what they thought they were all coming for. And, I assume that they thought that we were going to do all promoters and all series where it's oh no, we're going to hang on to the money and we'll do this at a different date. No, that was not going to happen.
No.
We
do a 7-hour one-way road trip once a year. That's it. No.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of killing each other, I don't think we could do more than one of those a year.
No, God, no.
No.
But at any rate, no, it was to me, it was a no-brainer. We thought of alternatives. We honestly did. I mean, we're like, hey, what if we do it next week? Stuff like that. But there's no way I could be there. So it just came down to, hey, I got the cash with me. I mean, we literally took up $20,000 in cash. And I'm like, no, let's do it tonight.
And I absolutely think that was the exact right decision.
Unfortunately, because of the weather, I know we would have had 50 plus cars.
Yeah. Well, you already knew more guys that were coming.
Yeah, I had guys from down south coming. Vicky had guys from other places coming. We know we would have had 50 cars at least for 10 grand.
Yeah.
With the Rush Series.
Yeah.
So I feel pretty excited about that because there was another series that had a 50,000 win race and they only had 54 cars. And that was the week before.
Okay.
So I'm really excited with what we had.
It was pretty amazing to have that many cars. The weather was still pretty sketchy. I mean, we didn't go through any rain on Friday, but there were plenty of other places that had rain. And if it's hard, if it's raining in your backyard, you're thinking, man, I'm an hour away. Could they really have escaped the rain?
As we were teching the winter, or I don't say we, I mean, I was not teching. I was not part of tech. But as
You were
Mike
observing.
Ingram was teching the winner and stuff like that, and Vicky's tech man, I'm like sitting there looking at the radar and looking at the forecast. Is like 90% chance of rain at 11, and then it would be like, no, now it's at 12. Nope, now it's at 1. So fortunately, we were able to get through the entire everything, and it all turned out really good. And the race was fucking phenomenal. So if nobody's ever been to Pittsburgh Motor Speedway, please go. It's amazing.
Oh, it was incredible. I love watching a really good race, and so I think Kyle Lucon was leading for most of it.
He led up to the last 5 laps.
Yep, and then back and forth with Jeremy Wunderling. It was a battle. It was clean. I think they got a little bit of bump, but nothing that was.
No, it was
it was just racing.
It's $10,000 on the line. It was good hard racing. There was no, they got out, shook hands.
Absolutely, and the sportsmanship is one thing I just loved to see. Is the great sportsmanship. And the gentleman that finished in third, his highest finish ever.
Oh, Ben Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from Delaware. He drove 6.5 hours to get there. Like we drove 7 to get there. So, I mean, we're talking this.
Yeah, and we weren't pulling a trailer.
No, we weren't pulling a trailer. No. So, I mean, yeah, he actually came from like 16th to 3rd, I think.
It was good.
Yeah, and it was only the second time he'd raced at that track this year or something.
He did an incredible job.
And it was actually his best. It was his best finish ever in the Rush Touring Series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's a victory right there, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's exciting. All right, we got some more questions here. So, Mikey says, is Steve making the trip to Race Logic in January at Hammond Motorsports? You're not going to that one.
I'm not. No, I'll be at the one in Pennsylvania for the dirt late or the crate late model class.
Yep. But of course, I'll be at Hammond Motorsports in Iowa in January.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Lucky you.
I am looking forward to going to Dave's shop. I really am. I've heard great things, and hopefully Dave and I will get a little bit of time to maybe shoot some other videos that we want to do. I mean, obviously we're going to try to shoot some at the Cars Racing Show. Oh, that's my big announcement for today. Anybody who wants to come to the Cars Racing Show, we have ticket registration is now open. Nice. So you can go ahead and get registered. It's $10 a ticket. You'll save $5 from that on the door. And I know something that Jimmy and I are going to be working on, my brother who organizes the show with me, is we're going to be, like reaching out and getting some gift cards. Maybe we get some giveaway things, and that's going to go to our attendees. So the sooner you register, the sooner I don't have any specific announcements right now, but it won't be long, and we'll have some kind of surprise giveaways and things.
Yep.
Yeah. So that'll be good. All right. Alan is here. He says, what are your thoughts on the crazy story about the 2 race cars that were stolen down in Ocala that were demolished and buried with an excavator? Craziest thing I've ever seen.
Honestly, I haven't heard about it.
I haven't either.
No.
Wow.
Yeah. I honestly haven't heard anything about it.
Well,
I do. Well, go ahead.
What are your thoughts? Go for it.
No, I don't have any thoughts on it because I haven't heard about it. So I just don't know.
Well, I have thoughts. And my thought would be, this is why I got involved with a GPS tracker called Track and Recover. And with that, you can hide these. It's about the size of a credit card, about ½ inch thick. And even in a situation like that, it would ping and you would know exactly where your race car was, or a lot of times
hauler or a piece of equipment.
It's really
or whatever.
Trailers more than anything else. When I heard about that, because the hard thing, even in North Carolina, you don't need a license plate for a trailer.
No.
If you're just going to be in state. I mean, if you're going to cross state lines, you need a license plate, but within the state, you don't.
That's just a trailer tag.
Yeah, something like that. So, with that, what do you say? Hey, police, my white trailer was stolen. I mean, just sit on a freeway and watch how many go by in 10 minutes. So, those things that don't get recovered. But I'm going to have to find out more about this story. I haven't heard anything about the race car stolen.
About it.
Yeah. Very interesting. All right. And another different Alan, says, Steve, just need your blessing. He needs your blessing. My new 602 crate with about 20 races has just failed the leak down.
Uh-oh.
Cylinder 3 is at 55% and 4 is 42% leak down. We ran the motor up to temp. As a team, we have decided to run it more. We have done a quality winter prep for now. Would you recommend something different?
I would recommend rebuilding it, honestly, at that point.
There's
At
no
55%. I mean, you got an issue of some sort, and especially 3 and 4. I mean, that's kind of bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
So you got an issue going on there of some sort. I mean, if it's legal for whatever series you're running in, then I would certainly look at rebuilding it. I mean, 55%, that's huge. I mean, now, that being said, if it's been sitting for an extended period of time, after maybe your last race or something, you just now run a leak down test on it. You could have rings that are rusted up a little bit. You could have, carbon of some sort under the valves. Yeah, I mean, there's multiple reasons why you can have that leak down. I'd be curious to see what the other 6 cylinders are.
Interesting. Okay, that reminds me of a story. Reminds me of in the 80s having my...
Oh, this is going to be a Kate story. Okay.
It's going to be a Kate story. I had my 1976 Firebird, carbureted, all of that. And one thing I had learned earlier was, you get carbon buildup. So sometimes you just have to blow out the carbon. Just put the pedal to the floor. So that was always going to be my excuse if I got caught speeding. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just trying to blow the carbon out. This is what my mom showed me. I never really I never got to use that excuse. Why are you looking at me? It's like that was a legit story.
That's a Kate story. Yeah.
Kate story. All right. Speaking of Kate, Tori says, Addison is Kate's Mini 100%.
Mm-hmm.
She's my mini. Jack is here. He says a Lone Star 600 is October 7th and 8th at Devil's Bowl in Mesquite, Texas. Well,
cool.
Yeah, great. That's coming up right around the corner.
I don't know what that is, but
obviously it's a race.
Well, I know where Devil's Bowl is. Yeah, I don't know what the race is.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Oh, Steve says, turn that camera back on, Kate. That's the Steve cam. Oh, I love it. All right, Dave's here. And we saw Dave this weekend in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
he says from Dave Goebel. Thanks, Steve. It was great to hang out with you and Kate after the races. You're a stand-up guy and made the right call to make it 10 grand to win. You are a badass.
Well, I appreciate that. And yeah, we had a great time. We were up at the guns, like trailers and stuff, and bonfire and drinking some beers and having a good time and being able to socialize. That's one thing I love about going to Pittsburgh is you meet like so many cool ass people, and they're all those dudes up there who race are just stand-up guys and just a pleasure to be around. I mean, I've never had a bad time going up there.
Yeah.
And we always get to meet cool ass people. So, I mean, of course we met last year, but yeah, this year was pretty cool because we got to talk like quite a bit. So make sure you come to that chassis school.
Yeah.
We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah. Race Logic. I'll drop that in racelogic.vip.
And hey, I appreciate the invite, by the way, to the concert, but we honestly lost track of time because me and Kate, my best friend Bobby Scott, he flew in from California on Thursday, where we picked him up at the airport, and he was there for the whole weekend, and we lost track of time because it was you, me, Bobby, and Vicky, and we ended up hanging out all day Saturday, and we just honestly just lost track of time.
Yeah, so I'm going to put, I don't know how I ended up with I will hide this and edit. But talking about the Race Logic Chassis School, there's just all these things going on. And there we go. So I'm going to show that.
And then I think I saw where, is it, I don't know, is Close supplying a car for that school or something?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I need to look at that again.
Yeah, not that I knew of. I didn't think we were going to have a car up there because Chip is coming up from CVR Race Cars, so I don't think we'll have a car at that one. Okay. But of course, I could be wrong.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, I know what it is. Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah, I spoke. I misspoke. Yeah.
Okay. So that's racelogic.vip chassis school. So far, we got 2 of them going into January. So for our folks that race IMCA stock cars, that one's going to be really cool because that'll be Dallin and Damon Murdy. Dallin just there's Damon. Father son. And one of them, the younger one, he's still in high school, and he won the IMCA Super Nationals.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That, I mean, what do they have, like 500 cars there or something insane?
Right.
Yeah, that's a kind of a big deal. And so, yeah, really looking forward to that one. That's the one that's going to be at Hammond Motorsports.
Yep.
And then the Crate late model class is the one that's going to be, well, it's interesting. It's in the same location where Rush has their banquet each year at Event Center. So, yeah. So just kind of throwing that out there for some ideas there for you folks. All right. And we got some more. And Tommy's here, says he's here and watching. And Mark says, what is the fastest / easiest method of changing gear oil in a 9-inch? I'm sick of getting the messy crap everywhere and wearing my arm out, pumping a gear oil pump, filling the rear end back up.
Well, then obviously, like, the easiest way of doing that is going to be getting one of the, like what you'd have like on a dirt late model. So we've got like the rear end filler tanks, which will hang from the deck. And then you just basically run a hose from there to the top of the rear end, and that's where you're filling it up from. So I know what you're talking about, because you have to go in through the side of the pumpkin. But yeah, I mean, if you can like bore a hole in the top of the case and do it that way, that's the way to go.
Good answer. And Josh says, hey, do you guys do anything other than crate motors?
We used to, Josh. Honestly, I did a ton of super motors back in the day, steel heads, limited stuff and things of that sort. But honestly, right now, the way things are, I mean, we're so busy with the crate stuff and anything else. Being 100% honest, I would be behind on technology when it comes to more open motor stuff. So I can give you some badass recommendations on people that I know who do, stuff other than crate engines. I got several friends that build probably some of the best motors in the country. But it's nothing that I would be interested in doing, just due to the fact that we're so involved with the crate stuff.
Yeah. And I'm at Crate Insider, and I think about everything I sell would probably go with a Chevy 350. But, I stay in my lane.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of crossover stuff that you sell, but I'm just saying, as far as we go, I mean, if I had to get back into it, I could. But the problem with like more open stuff, especially, any higher end like super late model stuff, or even the smaller stuff like, open street stock motors, stuff like that, I'd have to do some damn research and talk to some friends as far as, what's current, what's modern, what's actually, working.
Good deal. And now Mike has a question. He says, maybe it's just me, but I get the impression Steve isn't a fan of the Super Dirt Car Series. Is it because of World Racing Group, the rules, or just a dislike of Northeast Dirt Modifieds?
No.
It's very popular in the Northeast.
No, I actually love Northeast Dirt Modifieds. I like the open stuff. As far as their crate stuff that they're trying to run, like 602 stuff, I've heard where they're trying to make it to where you can't rebuild motors, which I think is complete total bullshit. And they're going to step on their dicks and be a bunch of assholes. Even IMCA has realized you have to be able to repair these motors. You have to be able to rebuild them. Although they try to keep it hush hush. So I don't know. I've got no use for dirt car.
Okay.
And, primarily because I've had experience with dirt car in the past, and most of those motors are cheated up. So their tech is crap.
And then Ellen says
602 wise, big block modifieds, freaking love them.
Okay. Northeast Dirt Car, all other at 9 to 10. I don't know what that really means. But Alan actually has dropped in a link to the Facebook story. So I will, let me see if I can. I don't think I can do anything with like copying the link or anything. So just like get it off of the screen. But I will definitely check that out. That is just crazy. Oh, and Shane is here. And this is great. He says, hey, Kate, my lovely wife figured it out. Simple fix. Glad to be back. He messaged me today. Shane did. And he says, hey, I've been watching the show. For some reason, I can't comment. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
I don't know. I mean, if Facebook isn't working, go to YouTube, you know,
Yeah.
because there's always a workaround. It's like, in my office, we're always trying to find, okay, well, I can't quite make this thing work. So,
Right.
all right, how do I work around that, you know? So this computer stuff.
Well, I mean, to be fair, anytime the power goes out, you have to reset all my clocks.
Oh.
I mean, so.
Yeah, I'm the nerd girl for sure. And Mark says, "Oh yeah, use gravity. That's smart. Thanks, Steve." So good call on that, there, Steve. That's a good call on that.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Yeah, we've got the race logic, and yeah, there's just all kinds of fun stuff. It's like we're kind of cruising into the off season a little bit here.
Yeah, we're about there. I mean, getting close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's October.
I know Rush has one race left, so that'll be Lernerville for the Stampede.
Okay.
I'm not sure about Crate Racing USA. I know he's probably got several left. Of course, I don't know what the Florida situation is with what they'll be doing down there, but we'll keep tabs on that.
Yeah. That seeing some of that devastation just blows my mind.
Yeah.
And the size of that storm. So, you know, hey, for everybody who's here, you know, glad folks are safe. And
yep.
Just being on the road as much as we have been for this weekend, I haven't seen a whole lot of news reports or anything like that. And you guys, I mean, feel free to drop in any questions. I see James says the off season will be busy for Steve, I'd bet.
We hope so, honestly. I mean, last year we were just absolutely slammed. So I'm a bit tentative to believe what this year is going to be because we did so many rebuilds last year. And, you know, how much have guys gotten a race due to tire shortages and fuel prices and, you know, not only on road, but, you know, for the race car fuel prices. I mean, all the stuff, all the variables. So I don't know how much people have gotten to race. So, you know, our business is obviously we deal with people primarily with this disposable income of some sort. Mm-hmm. So they're willing to spend X amount or they got sponsors or whatever. But how much did they race? Did they wear their stuff out? Did they not? Did they want new stuff? So it's going to be a big question mark going into this coming year.
Yeah. You know, it reminds me, I mean, we haven't really talked about like the macroeconomic landscape. I mean, mm-hmm. I just made that like, I've got this big fancy word, but no, I mean, there was a very interesting concept that one of the YouTubers that I watch a lot, that is my favorite, that he was talking about. And like, you look at this and you're like, there's a recession around the corner, and right. Just with all the lineups, but at the same time, you know, you're hiring at every single restaurant, any kind of service job, whether from being a mechanic shop to construction, anything,
right.
Everybody needs workers. So it's an interesting concept, but he has a theory that really the recessionary part about the job losses are really going to come from tech because they overhired during the pandemic and stuff.
Right.
And so where the recessionary part of it comes in is all like those rich folks in Silicon Valley. Facebook is getting rid of like 20% of its workforce.
Right, that's true.
And they're who drove up all of the inflationary costs. That's who's buying the Teslas. Yeah. You know, like the lowest end Tesla is like $47,000. Right. So, you know, you have to wonder, is this going to be like a recession of the elite and then maybe leave the rest of us middle class alone for a change? I don't know.
Hard to say.
I don't know. It's something that I am watching like a train wreck. I just am watching.
Well, I mean, you can't look away. But
no, I can't look away. I can't help it.
And then Brandon keeps saying stupid shit to get us into World War III. So.
Oh, for God's sakes. Yeah. I mean, well, and that right there is going to be even more blue collar jobs. I mean, it's not going to make any more white collar jobs.
Won't be a whole lot of blue collar or white collar going on if everything's fucking nuclear. So
absolute idiocy and just pissing away our money.
Exactly.
There's like 1,000 better ways of pissing away our money than going to war over something that, yeah, whatever. All right. Mark says, we just finished our off season in Arizona. We race all winter. Get on down here.
Nice. There you go. Yeah, you guys do actually. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys have a lot of big races coming up. I mean, you got like the Wild West Shootout in January. I know that's going on at the same time as the Cars Racing Show. Mm-hmm. So that's the one big event there.
Yep.
Joe says, hi, on a 602 rebuild, do you use GM parts or aftermarket
They're
parts?
100% GM. If provided, I mean, if we're racing by a series rule, which I don't know any series that allow for anything aftermarket. There's some asphalt tracks out there that do.
Mm-hmm.
But no, anything series related, no, they're 100% GM parts in order to reseal them and have my name attached to them.
Yeah, I think the only other exception, you might have a few dirt series that might allow for the 602s, I think for the 602 sprint cars, where they allow the 604 oil pan, because of the depth of the oil pan.
Yeah, okay.
There's
that,
a couple
that would be an exception.
Yeah, there's a couple little parts switcheroos.
If we're talking street stocks or late models, then yes.
Yeah.
Everything I'm associated with, you have to use 100% GM parts.
Well, and even that, you can't just use a champ pan. You'd have to use a GM pan. But
you can use
champ.
A lot of asphalt stuff. You're allowed to change oil pans.
And cams in some of the asphalt
well,
stuff.
it just depends. That's what's so crazy about asphalt. The asphalt series are just bizarre with the rules. I mean, they change from there's like 4 different sets of rules I know between North Carolina and South Carolina with asphalt. So it's crazy what goes on. And that's with cars and trucks and everything.
And Don says ankle weights and wrist weights under the driver's suit at weigh-ins. Just a thought there. Now, Darren has a theory. He says digital currency is coming, and all of us that don't comply will be screwed.
Oh, well, that's what they're trying for, is the Fed coin. If we want to actually get into that subject, but yeah, they want everything to go Fed coin, where they know exactly what you got and who you sold it to and everything else. So,
okay, I'm going to tell you about the interesting conundrum that's going to happen in North Carolina if that's the case, because more than once, I have seen Steve go into a convenience store and had to teach a person how to use a debit card.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not making this up.
No.
It is like their first day with a debit card. And we've had debit cards for 40 years? I mean, 35 to be generous.
No, I mean, but as far as the machine goes and stuff,
Yeah. How much worse is that going to be? I don't know. Like, where's your crypto? Like, is it on a card? How does that work?
I could go into a whole hour rant on this, but
yeah,
obviously we don't have time for that.
Ooh, Don's like, let's hear some cheating tricks. Yeah. Well, I think there's gray area. I mean, my concept on cheating, and you can take the torch here in a moment, but my concept on cheating is if they don't tech it, it's not a rule.
Right.
I mean, I respect rules, but if you don't tech it, it's not a rule.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I mean, engine-wise, if my name's attached to it, then and it's sealed under me, no, there's 100% no cheating engine-related wise. Is there a way to fudge fuel? Is there a way to fudge exhaust? Is there a way to fudge carburation, stuff like that? Yeah. And then that, applies to the whole, if they don't tech it, screw it, man, get away with what you can get away with.
Well, that's gray area.
Yeah.
If they're not going to ever check it. Yeah.
But most reputable series or reputable racetracks, they will actually have, especially in a crate racing scenario, they will absolutely have good tech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not worth it.
No.
Yeah, probably more like the little body things that you can do with Aero, where it's
bodies are sheeted up all the time.
Yeah,
and yeah.
Gosh, drop more comments in there. I think we had the question earlier, a little bit talking about rebuilds,
mm-hmm.
and it kind of came up. Let's talk about for folks who are maybe new to hearing about this. Are you really making a big difference in the engine? Like if you got a brand new engine out of the box versus something that you blueprint,
mm-hmm.
Are you adding, I know the answers to these questions, but how much more horsepower are you gaining and what are you actually doing to these engines? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, if you'd asked me the same question 15 years ago, I'd have said, yeah, we're picking up power. Nowadays, can we? Yes, we probably can. Is it a minute amount? Probably so. It's not anything that's going to be the difference between winning and losing races. I mean, and I tell everybody now, because that's the first thing somebody wants to know. Okay, why are you blueprinting them? Well, because I'm doing what GM can't do, and I'm making them all equal. So you're talking anything other than a 525, CT 525, anything other than that. So 604, 602, those are production line built engines. They're not hand built. So they're production line built engines. And they're not all equal. So what we're able to do is go per the rules, per the book that GM gives to us, saying, this is the spec on deck height. This is the spec on combustion chamber volume, all this stuff. We make every engine that comes through there equal. So again, we do what they can't do. The other thing is it's an insurance policy. So, look at the crankshaft problems we had here a while back. We had crankshaft problems where there was stroke built into number 2, 3, and 4 main. We saw as much as 1.5 run out on mains.
Okay, I don't actually know what any of those.
I know you
meant.
don't, but
okay.
Some people may. So, anyways, you got 1 and 5, right?
Yep.
You got 4, 3, and 2 main journal. 1 and 5, if you put them on in a crank grinder, and you index off 1 and 5, 3, 4, 2 might have 1.5 run out.
What's that?
Meaning, if you're running 3,000 bearing clearance, the damn crank's touching the freaking bearing on one side.
And that's bad.
Yes.
Okay.
That wipes out main bearings.
Oh, yeah, that's really bad.
So, yeah, I've got photos of this where you got one side of the bearing wiped, the other side's not wiped. Shit like it's
correcting mistakes.
Just fucking unreal. So, yeah, correcting mistakes is a huge thing.
Well, and you mentioned insurance. You've also seen where you pull off an intake manifold and seeing grind marks before too.
Yeah, I've got pictures of a brand new cylinder head off a brand new motor. It's got grind marks in the intake runners.
And the challenge,
we didn't do it. GM did it.
But the challenge would be
proving that in tech.
Well, if a racer gets torn down, they're going to be called illegal. They will absolutely be called illegal. So
for that particular customer, I had to get GM to warranty the head. Because I couldn't put it back together that way, obviously.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just a bunch of different variables. But primarily the thing is making all of them equal. So, honestly, when you get it back from us or probably other rebuilders too, I mean, there's plenty of guys that do the same thing we do. Then you're going to get the maximum what the potential of that engine is.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Mike has a great offer here. He says, if anybody wants to go to Bitcoin and get rid of their cash, just send the cash to me. I'll dispose of it properly.
Nice.
Good call. Yeah. Forget where Bitcoin's at now. I think it's right around 19,000. Anybody can correct me.
It's dropped quite a bit then.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, because it used to be over 20 and now it's not.
It was like 30 something at one point.
Yeah. Jeffrey says, what's the difference between a 51060R versus the 51061R?
The 60s go ahead.
We're talking about oil filters for anybody who's not sure what we're talking about. We're talking about oil filters. I'm guessing that's the anti-drain back valve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead and talk about that.
The 60 probably has the, what do you call it? The
anti-drain back valve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about why that's a disadvantage?
No, it's fine.
I will
let you take over.
Well, I'm trying to remember from the video that I did. I do all this research and I had my bullet points. So anti-drain back valve, the reason why you've got that is because in some engines, obviously not crate engines, where you would mount the oil filter upside down. What you don't want to have happen in an engine is for that oil filter to completely run dry when the motor isn't running. So with the 60s, they're going to have what's called an anti-drain back valve, which is going to hold back that oil and keep it in the oil filter when the engine is turned off. Especially this whole upside down concept. That's not what we run or how we run them in a crate engine. All we're going to do is just cut down on flow, and it's not going to be an advantage. I know Napa a couple times a year where they'll have the big blowout sale, and it's always those that are like go for super cheap, but we'll get better performance out of the other one, the 51061R, where we don't have an anti-drain back valve. We don't really want that in our crate engines. Did I do all right there?
Okay.
Did I do okay?
I'm not going to argue with you.
All right. Cool.
I'd lose anyway, but yeah, I'm not going to.
Well, You can tell how old my videos are by how short my hair was. So I think my hair was like short when I was starting to do those videos. And actually, I don't think I even have a video. I might have a video on that. I can't remember. Pippi's going to join us now.
What's up, Pip's
because
good?
that was when R2C had oil filters, and that's when I was presenting all that information. So I may have taken that video down. I'm going to have to do that again. Okay. Great. And let's see. Don says the tricks are fun to hear when they get away with it. Yeah, that's true. Josh has a question. He says, like for you to look at a 358 4-stage oil Wolfgang pump system DEI block. Just wondering if you do other than crate stuff. And he's in the Winchester, Virginia Speedway area.
Okay, I'm in Winchester.
358 4-stage oil Wolfgang pump system DEI block.
No, DEI block. Okay, yeah. Like you want me to look at the engine or the? I'm not quite getting it.
Yeah. Well, we'll wait for that follow up here. And Don mentions oil pressure issues too. So oil pressure issues with those other filters. Good one. And BBQ 79 says Hendren racing engines are the best, hands down.
Thanks.
Hands down. And Josh says he appreciates it. But yeah, with a little more information there, Josh, try to get some answers for you.
Yeah.
I actually had a guy call today. This still happens. It's fun. Where guys like, hey, I'd like to, talk to somebody. I got, quick tech question. Like, okay, well, like, how can I help you? And he's like, well, but I have a question.
Is there a man there?
It's pretty much where we're ending up with. So at some point, I'm like, okay, so what kind of engine do you have? He's like, well, I've got a Chevy 350 and it's going to a sprint car. And I'm wondering about how to connect the throttle linkage. And, isn't there somebody I can talk to about that? I'm like, I'll be honest with you. I'm about what this is as good as it gets right here. So, and I gave him some references, but I could tell that number one, because he needed a bypass regulator. Well, I've got one on the shelf, KSE. But I mean, I don't know how to hook it up. There's all these hoses. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, you're calling Crate Insider. Like, what made you think that was, I mean, I don't know who he was trying to call, to be honest. I just don't know. Pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
the girl thing, which sometimes being underestimated.
Is there a man there?
Yeah. Well, they don't say that.
I know.
They don't say that exactly. Maybe. Well, he was from California. I guess they could have said, well, yep, this is Kale. This is Kale. How can I help you?
Change your voice.
I'm a little gender fluid.
Right.
I just turned into a dude. Yeah. You should probably talk to the girl. She's pissed now.
Call me they, them.
Call what?
Call me they, them.
They, them. Oh my gosh. And now I'm going to be the one getting us kicked off the YouTube and Facebook.
Exactly.
Great. All right.
You've been all anti-trans over there.
Okay, I'll come back to it. All right. Alan says, Kate and Steve, can you explain the 6-valve benefits of the ProCam fuel pump? 6-valve.
Yeah, it's a 6-valve pump.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, there's not. I mean, it has to do with flow, but I mean, I'm not a fan of that pump. It's probably the most inexpensive pump that's out there. All it is a copy of the old Holley pump that, God, we ran those. Shit. Back in California, when I started racing in 86, we were running those Holley 6-valve pumps. And it's a direct copy of that Holley 6-valve pump. And we had nothing but problems out of the valves.
Okay, I'm ready to write down what it is. What kind of pump is the one
on methanol? Huh?
What's a good?
Well, right now, no. It's a good alternative for everybody, but I mean, no. It just has to do with flow. So, I mean, no. It's a good pump per se. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you how old the technology is.
Yeah.
So, at any point in time where you don't have to run a freaking mechanical pump, get rid of that thing and go to a damn belt drive. Because we're talking technology that was invented, God, it was even before I started racing. We're talking like early 80s.
Yeah, but how old is a Chevy 350 motor?
Well,
I mean, that
that
technology.
has nothing to do with it. I'm just saying that, like, this particular pump, yeah, I mean, does it work? Yes. Is it functional? Yes. Does it do a good job? Yes. Is the flow high because it's a 6-valve pump? Yes. But it's nothing as compared to, I don't know, like a race pump that Willie sells, which is a mechanical pump, piston driven pump. And and none of those have any, anything on a belt drive pump.
Now, but with those race pumps, don't you really need to be running them with the Super Bowl system or something equivalent? Otherwise, the fuel pressure is too much for
not at all. You got a bypass system, you can run a damn race pump.
Okay. I mean, that's not,
yeah.
That was never explained to me from Willie.
Right.
I thought that, this is so high powered, you wouldn't even take a chance at running with a crate without actually having like this whole fuel system thing going on.
Not at all. You can run it with a bypass. As long as you got a bypass system, you can run it.
Oh, interesting. Okay. It's good to know.
But I mean, back to that point, I'm just not a fan of that pump. Do we use them? Is it what goes out on standard combinations that we build? Yes. I'm just not a huge fan of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Gary says, is it good to mix Klotz top end lube with X85?
You can if you want to. Yeah, it's not going to hurt anything by any means. That Uplon is like really good stuff. John Klotz actually developed that for IndyCar when they were, on methanol. So I've actually tested that back to back, Uplon versus no Uplon in X85, for instance, and there's no power loss at all. So yeah, it wouldn't hurt. I mean, do we use it? No, I don't use it anymore in our stuff. We use it primarily with CHP, but in the X85 that my son runs, no, we don't use it. It's not going to hurt anything by any means. So
great. And Craig says, a lot of belt drive pumps, I have seen a few of them not start and lose prime more than once.
It can happen. Yeah, it can happen. But for the most part, I've never had an issue out of a belt drive pump. It was built properly.
Gotcha. Don says, any word on the crate programs coming to an end of an era?
No.
That's been the rumor for what? Probably
since it started.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you why I don't think. This is my theory on why I do not think crate programs are coming to an end anytime soon. Because when you read GM's annual report, they are all in on the EV revolution and developing this whole catalog of electric vehicles. Now, the problem with electric vehicles is that they're really expensive for R&D. So how they plan on financing the EV revolution effort is going to be on the backs of the profits they make from the trucks that they sell. And I would think that the engines that we buy, use, race, all of that really would kind of fall in that truck category. There will never be any electric cars without the truck sales.
Well, considering that the whole crate engine thing is like one of GM's, most profitable deals that they deal with.
It's just so much smaller. That's the only problem.
It is, but if it's, it might be way smaller because you're not selling a car, you're selling an engine. But it's like one of the most profitable things that they deal with. No.
Yeah. And back to fuel pumps, then I'm going to get back to this other question from Brett. But Shane says, remember back in the Carter pump was old and reliable.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you liked was the Carter pump.
Oh, a long time ago. Yeah. But again, I mean, we're talking block mounted fuel pumps are like HEIs. We're talking, this is antiquated technology that honestly does not belong on race cars if you can avoid it. I mean, obviously if you can't, you have to use one, then, use one.
And then what's the difference between X85 and E85? This is a question from Brett.
There's not. So X85 is just a brand name for VP. So E85 is going to be, ethanol 85%. X85 is ethanol 85%. So between fuel manufacturers, if it's their E85 variant, it's going to be named something different. So, Sunoco's R85. I don't know what Renegade calls theirs or Base calls theirs or anything else, but no, it's the same thing.
Yeah, and it's all about their brand and then what they're cutting. What's the other 15% of this?
Right. But what I'll tell you is, like, whatever fuel that they're using to cut them, the 15%, they all run about the same.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've tested back to back on all this stuff, and it's all about the same. I really like VP because out of everything that I've mentioned, it's the most consistent. So when you're running E85, consistency is key. Absolutely.
Makes a lot of sense. Well, great. We're at the hour mark. That hour has just flown by. Do you have any other last words of wisdom you would like to share, Steve?
No, not really. I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Off the top of my head.
I'll wrap up with announcements. Again, we're going to have the Cars Racing Trade Show, January 6th and 7th in Hickory, North Carolina. We just opened up badge registration today, and that is at carsracingshow.com. Also, Race Logic Chassis School. We talked about it a little bit earlier. You can check that out at racelogic.vip. And that wraps up everything for us this week. Oh, there is one more announcement. We will not have a show next Monday.
Oh, that's right. Because where are you going?
I'm going to St. Martin. I'm going to be on the beach.
Hell, I might just do the show myself.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. But I'll have my laptop with me. You could do it from your phone.
I was like, hack it with a phone.
You could totally hack it with a phone. Tori could help you get set up with the things that you would need. There's a tripod right over there with a phone mount on it. So you could go live on your phone.
No, I'll pass.
Go get live with your iPad. You can connect it that way. Oh, I could make it happen. But in case you haven't realized, I do all the tech. So that's, like
I said, you set all the fucking all the clocks on the microwave and shit.
That's right. That would be me. That would be me. Oh, and Mark says, pics from St. Martin or it didn't happen. Oh, there'll be plenty. You can watch out my stories. I guess, yeah, I mean, anybody who's not following me, my Instagram is Kate Dillon. So I'm Instagram at Kate Dillon. I do actually have my own website, CrateInsider.com. I'm Kate talking about Kate things. So I talk about business and yeah, I basically talk about business things that I like. Yeah, and just being an entrepreneur. All right, let's wrap this thing up. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much for being here. And we will look forward to seeing you 2 weeks from now. Have a good one.
See ya.